Hello, welcome. My name is Obindako. Welcome. I want to share with you today system thinking. System thinking. Most people are not aware of something they call system thinking. Majority of the world's population are not conscious of it. System thinking. And yet, every product that you see around you, everything that you see is a product of a certain system, of a certain process. As a matter of fact, they say that if the process is wrong, the product will also be wrong. They also say that the results that you have, the state of your life today, your finances, your successes, your failures, your mistakes, they all have come from a repetitive, activity or something that you've been doing consistently. That's where your life is now. And there are a lot of things that we do them, consistently in terms of repetition that we may not even be conscious of, but which are being run in the form of a system. So I am talking about system thinking, and you would want to share this channel with your friends. Please share them with your friends, those who will be interested in things like that. We discuss entrepreneurship, we discuss finance, we discuss personal development, things like that we think our people need. So system thinking is very key. System is not so, there are very complex systems and there are very basic systems. Like the universe. The universe is a very complex thing on its own. It's a very complex thing. You may call it even a whole system. The human body has a lot of things that they call systems. So the digestive system, the reproductive system. When we were in school, they told us about those. And the system is able to, all things being equal, the system is able to produce the same results, if the system is maintained well and it's not biased. And the system, a lot of people confuse system with just one activity or one product or one process. A system, it takes a system to fight a system. So let's say there's been a system that is in place to create a certain people, to create poverty, for instance. Once in a while, somebody will come out to be successful. But for you to produce a lot of them, then you must look at the system which is producing all these poor people. So a system, you at least be aware that there is something they call system, especially those of us who are trying to build businesses. If you want to build a business and be less stressful and be successful and to build something that is sustainable, you would want to look at what they call systems and to actually think in terms of systems. A lot of people think in terms of self. They are not aware that there is something they call system. That's why you can have somebody who becomes self-employed all his life or his life, because they are not able to understand that for this business to grow, there is something called systems that I have to look at and I have to be able to build. So let's say you know how to make kelewele, you know how to bake bread. You've been able to make bake bread, just one person. You may know the processes, and you may be able to bake maybe 1 bag of bread the flour. But if you want to make 1,000 flour within a certain period, just as you would want to go beyond just the skill to bake bread, but the skill to build a system that can bake 1,000 bags of bread. let's say in a day. And that one will call for just you and your energy and your involvement. So system thinking is very much important. So I'm saying that it takes a system to build anything sustainable. And is that it actually takes systems to build wealth, sustainable wealth. To build businesses, you need to have this kind of thinking, system thinking. You should just have to be aware that there's something like that. And then maybe you would have to look at how it is built and how it is maintained, how it is transferred, things like that. But if you're not aware of it at all, then that's a whole different thing. If you're not aware at all, then that's a different thing. So you should be aware that there's something we call system, and that you will need that if you want to become successful. There are just steps and processes and principles and procedures to keep producing something in a repetitive manner. They just processes. So let's say if you want to bring water to Accra, for instance, you would have to build a whole water supply system so that you can feed water to, let's say, 1 million people, 4 million people in a whole city. If you go to the water department in our country, you can see a whole infrastructure, that has been built that feeds the people with water. That is a system that somebody built. Now there are systems that you can also build for your own personal life as well. So whatever resource that you're having is because whether you are aware of it or not, there's a particular thing that you've been doing consistently, almost every day. And the best of it is that if you become conscious that I have to put a whole structure in place to get to a certain resource. If you look at footballers, for instance, the top guys who play with this top level at this top levels, they have a regiment. The time they wake up, the time they sleep, the time they go for training, what they eat, what to watch, what they read, the time they visit their family, the time that they can visit their family. That's the whole system that they have put there. And that's why if they go through it, they are able to produce this kind of players. If you pick a boxer, it's the same way. When you were actually in school, it was a whole infrastructure that the school had put in place. So that, especially boarding school or even any school at all, the time that you go for assembly, the time that you go for break, the time that they teach this particular topic, the time that, the whole school is on vacation, it's a whole structure. So it doesn't matter who goes through that. And the kind of content they put there, which teacher teaches what, that's a system. And that's why he's able to produce all these kind of people for a whole number of years. So if you want to become, or if you're a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, you would want to look at what they call system thinking and possibly put it in place in the kind of business that you are building. A lot of people complain. Some people complain about the frustration, that they go through in trying to get the best of people to work with. Have you built any system at all in terms of how do you recruit the people? How do you train them? How do you develop them? How do you control them? That's a system. So a system actually is something that is designed. It's designed. So you must have, if you want to build any system for anything, you must have the aim of you building it. What do you want? What is the problem that you want to solve? Systems are used to solve problems. So any system that you want to, let's say it's your life. Your life is a problem that you're solving right there. So in the next 10 years, let's say you want to make $1 million, or you want to build a business. That becomes a goal. The system that you want to build must have a goal. So what goals have you put in place? Now, when you set the goals, then you come down. So what are the activities that I have to do every day or every other day, every month, every week for me to get these goals achieved? So the moment you start to set the goal and build the steps, the principles, the points, the processes, the procedures, you're actually building what they call system. They use system so much that a lot of us think that is a very complex thing, but it's not. It's just any few procedures that you put in place that said that you are bound by these procedures to get to your certain results. So let's say you want to reduce weight. You would want to set a goal, and you want to settle the food. You want to write down what time to eat which food, what time to take rest, what time to go for training or exercise, what food to eat at which time. If that thing that you have developed, let's say if it was informed that much, and if somebody has used it somewhere and work for them, and you also put them down and you go by those, you will get the same results. So likely that you get the same results. So a lot of people who have money, they have systems. That's why they have money. And those who don't have money don't even know that for you to have wealth, you must have structures, you must have processes, you must have systems. So systems have inputs. They have inputs and they have outputs. They have actions and they have, reactions. You plant and then there's harvest. That's how you build systems. And they guide you. They actually control you. You subject yourself to the system that you have put in place. So let's say I want to write a book. A lot of people want to write books. They have all the ideas, but they're never able to sit down to write the book. Why are they not able to sit down to write a book? Why? Because they don't have something that supersedes their emotions and the problems that come with life. So all of us will go through life and a lot of problems will come. But if you set some few processes down and you subject yourself to those processes, you'll be able to write that book. So let's say you want to say, instead of me saying that, oh, one day I'll just sit down and write all the book. Maybe I want to write a page or a paragraph a day. And I want to write it between 4 and 6 in the morning. So let's say I say, okay, I can't do it every day, but I can do it every other day. So you write something like that. The moment you don't go by it, you feel some reactions within you. So you can set that from January to December. I can guarantee you that by January to December, if you do that, you see that you have been able to write that book that you want to write. So you want to build a business, it's the same. You have thought about it several times and you keep it in your head. The moment you keep it in your head and you don't put it down and you don't put some procedures down, it will be very difficult for you to subject yourself to those. So a lot of people who become successful is because they put those things down. They may not tell us as their systems, but they are. So that's why a lot of successful people are very highly organized. Very highly organized. Why? Because that is a system. A system will make you organize. A system will make you organize, will make you regiment. You have some kind of regiment. You have some kind of formulas, models that you follow. And it's all because you may not even be conscious of it, but it's a regiment that you're following. And the moment you have some regiments that you're following, is actually a system that you have built for yourself. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about system thinking, and particularly with people who want to build businesses, people who are ambitious, entrepreneurs, for instance. I'm saying that you have to be aware that there is something called systems. And any product that you see around in anywhere, right now, wherever you are, anything that you're watching, the computer that you're watching this from, or the laptop that, what is the name? The phone in your hand is a complete system on its own. And it's not just a product that somebody just produced. It's a product out of a system as well as out of a lot of processes that some people put in place. Anything, the shirt that I'm wearing is a product coming from a particular system that some people built. So anything that you see, any product, any processes, any procedure, any services that you see that people can repeat and even scale it, escalate it, blow it up, it's because they have mastered the processes that produce these things. So the difference, there are people who sell water on their head in a country, and there are people who have built water businesses. The difference is the same product, but the difference is the systems that each of them have been able to build. So the kind of system that you're able to build will decide the kind of successes that you'll be able to achieve. That you'll be able to achieve. So the guy with 100 million has a better system than the one with 20 million in the same business. So system thinking is very key. You just have to be aware that there is something they call system thinking. And that if you're building anything, you would want to consider that. If you master it, you have a lot of things built and run without much stress, because then you have put a lot of things in place. So you're in your business place. If you employ somebody, what are the procedures that them? If you use those procedures well, a lot of the times you may not even be the one to be there for that person to be trained, because there are procedures. So when the person comes, he says, this is the first day, this is what we teach you. Second day, this is what we teach you. It's the third day, this is what we teach you. In your business, how do you collect the money? How do you make the payment? You may say that this is how I collect the money. This is how, so the things that you have put to cross-check and to monitor things, those are all systems. Those are all systems. It's not just a complex, we are not talking of robotics or aerodynamics or, all kind of complex things that people talk about. I'm just talking about very basic procedures, activities, steps, principles that we can put in place to organize our lives, to organize our businesses, to organize our families, to organize our finances. So you must put your life in a system. You must, because this life is going, whether you like it or not, it's going like that. The other day you were 20 years, the other day you were 10 years, now you're 30 years, now you're 40 years, it's going. A lot of people just live their life to go like that without having any controls. Systems will give you controls. You will have to. So let's say this is 2020. 2020, 2030, you want to be around. But the processes, the procedures that you put in place will give you the life that you want. Most people who are unaware of structures and systems are the ones who are always waiting for something, magical, something miraculous to change all the problems and to solve all their problems for them. No, you must regiment your life. You must sit down and plan how you spend your day. How I spent the last year, the last 2 years, the last 3 years of my days. They are responsible, for the results that I have now, which means that tomorrow, next 2 years, next 3 years, they're not just going to change like that. They are going to change because I'm able to actually set some processes in place and follow them. So my finances, a lot of people hope that their finances will just one day, everything will change. I'm not sure many of us will have that kind of chance. Many of us, our finances will just reflect the systems that we're able to build, knowingly or unknowingly. Just as we call something financial system, the financial system of any country, the same, you must also have your own personal financial system in place, or the bigger financial system will swallow you and you trade all your life, to get something. So I am talking about system thinking. You must be aware that there is a system running everywhere. And if you want to produce, that's why the reproductive system, that's why, the creator, God, put these things there. So when a man meets a woman, things being equal, there will be seed. It's been going on for years, for ages. Why? Because it's a system, it's a structure. Almost everything that God created, he put them in structures, he put them in systems. That's why there's precision. The better the system, the more precise the results will be. The more precise the activities will be, the more precise the processes will be, the better. And if you look at any designer, look at the engine, look at the car, look at the plane, anything that you see around, the level of precision was out of the structures that you use to produce that product that you look around. So if anything is around your life you're not happy with, if anything is in your business and you're not happy with, you look back, sit down and check the processes, the steps, the procedures, the mechanisms, the activities that you're using. Are they right or they are wrong? So it's the same. It's the same. So you have to look at, you can't control everybody, but at least you can control your life. So look at your life. What life system have I built? It could be 10 years, it could be 30 years, it could be 60 years. You could be even be 70, and you may not have put your life in a structured manner. So a lot of us say that, life is mysterious. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. They tell us, but the system can predict a lot of things. You can predict a lot of things if you build structures and systems on your life. You can predict a lot of things. You can. They say that a lot of things are outside our domain, maybe, but so many things are also within our domain. So you will not be surprised when the finances are not where, because there was no system. When anything is out of your control, it's because you don't have any system to control it. The moment you build a system, you'll be fine. Watch football and see the teams who are very solid. When the others are praying, they are scoring because the systems you have, they're more powerful than any other thing that will prove the results in your life. The systems, how well you are informed on anything with your life, with your business, with your family, with your finances, with your health, and how well you're able to build procedures and systems and processes or steps in that thing and follow them. Those things will predict more results in your life than any other thing. So if my business is failing, it's so likely that there are things that I've not structured and I don't follow. So once a while, I do them. The once a while things that you do, they don't produce consistent results. So let's say this year, I've decided to read, let's say 2 books every month. So I write them down. I write those books. I write the goals down and say that January, I want to read 2 books. February, I want to read 2 books. September, all those I want to read. So now I have set a goal. 2 books a month, 3 books a month, 4 books a month. Somebody will say, me, I can't read any book. It's because you have not set them. The moment you set them, whether you're lazy or you're not lazy, it doesn't matter. The moment you put those goals down, you will not see what happened. You will not see. You will just be gravitating, towards you picking a book and reading them. Picking a book and reading them because that you have set that. So maybe you may not even write them in your diary, but your phone is there. There's the note that side. Just type them. Every month, I want to read 2 books. Then maybe you even go ahead to write the kind of books that you want to read and which books. And you even order them, download them on your phone. You will see that you push yourself. You have not read any book for the last 10 years. Before you see it, now you're reading a book. Why? Because now you have put something that is cross-checking you, that is checking you. So the systems are more powerful than your decisions and your choices because they actually run you. They actually run you. That's why when you go to the workplace, the routine there, the timetable there, they're more powerful than the individuals there. That's why when you go to any restaurants, they have the menu. They cook the food according to the menu. They don't just jump to say that today we are just going to cook this. That's a whole system there. That's a whole system. And that's why the restaurant can run for years. If you go to any place that they have these steps there, the codes, the principles that they put there, 12 o'clock, this is what we are doing. 3 o'clock, this is what we are doing. 10 o'clock, this is what we are doing. Those people who follow them, they get consistent results than those who don't have anything written. That's why you can have big organizations. They still run them. Why? Because they have these procedures. They may not call them systems, but they are systems. They have all these steps that they go them. They have these routines that they go through every day. And that's why they run those organizations successfully. The other ones who don't follow them. So any organization, they sit down to write them. So let's say Bank of Ghana will say that if you're banking Ghana, these are the steps. These are the things that we expect of you. If you see the banks that follow this, you will see them do well. And the banks that don't follow the regulations, you will see them, they go down. So the same with your life. The more informed you are with how to build a personal system to guide your life, the more fulfilled you will be with your life. So if you're not happy with your life, it's because there have been things that you have not systematized with your life. And that's why you're not happy with your life. Things that will feed you to grow. Things that will build your skills. Things that will continue to develop your mindset. Things that will take care of your health. Things that will take care of your relationships. Things that will take care of your spirituality. Let's say you're a Christian. Do you have a structure? How many scriptures do you read every day or every other day? When do you pray? Do you have a stated time that you pray? Have you regimented? Have you put them in regiments? Have you timetabled them? What time do you talk to your children? Do you train them? Do you have a timetable that you train them? What time? What time do you take them to school? What time do you take them to church? When do you have time to visit your friend? You know, when money comes to you, do you have a structure? Or when the money comes, you just splash them as they are? If you don't have any system built for the money that you receive, when the money comes, you will splash, you spend them big time because there was nothing that was controlling you. So discipline is actually as a result of the systems, the procedures, the structures that you have put in place to cross-check you. And that's where growth and development and wealth would come from. So anything that you're building, if you don't put these things there, it's so likely that you will be out of control. So let's say you are traveling from here to Kumasi. They tell you that this place is a cave. Let's say you are traveling from here to Kumasi, for instance. By the time you get to Nsawam, you see all the road signs there. You see the speed limits. You see where the police will stop you. You see where you have to slow down. You see the toll booth. All those are systems that they have put in place so that you will reach Kumasi safely. Now, if you think you're very wise, so where they write go 80, you go 200, no problem. The likelihood that you will get an accident and cause damage to yourself and to others will be so high. Why? Because you don't follow instructions. So systems are really instructions that they have given so that you reach the destination. So if you follow them well, you will get there. If you don't, then you will not get there. So those who follow the instructions are more likely to get the same result. So these things that they put on the road, they have put them there so that they will save lives, they will preserve lives, and so people will get to their destiny if we follow the instructions. You go and check. A lot of the times, the accidents that you see on the roads is because people are jumping. They don't want to follow the instructions. The systems put in place, they don't want them. They want to go their own way. And you see that they will get into troubles a lot of the times. Even when you abide by those rules and the speed limits there, and somebody misbehaves, and you do type something. Confident. And somebody misbehaves and crosses you. The likelihood that if you were within the limits, you probably will be preserved. Most likely, you'll be preserved. Why? Because you were following the system put in place. So systems actually guarantee success. They guarantee the results. They guarantee the destination because that is the essence of you building a system. So if you're not aware and you're building anything in this life, your finances, your family, your career, and you don't put them, your health, your education, you don't put those things in a system, you don't organize them, it's so likely that you will get to a destination you will not be happy with. Why? Because you did not follow the instruction, you didn't get organized. So systems are critical to the success of anything. Countries that are built on systems, you can see there's organization. The sewage is taken care of, the waste is taken care of. You can see that the road networks are intact. When the systems will reduce corruption because the systems are in place. When there's a lot of human interactions, there are a lot of waste. I know my friend is a food processor. He told me that, listen, when I got to, when I was able to build this mini plant to handle the milling, now I can produce so many within a very short time. I've been able to reduce the human interaction. Today, somebody is sick. Tomorrow, somebody is not well. All those have been cut and reduced. Why? Because now he has a better way of producing, and it's so predictable. You just press the button, and the machine will be working, and he's able to predict how much he's going to get. Why? Because of systems. So quality systems are also built on quality information, quality data. So if you're not informed, then it's likely that the system that you have built for yourself, the system that you have built to take care of yourself may not be a well-built system. So you have to be informed. You have to feed yourself, because the better the data, or how the quality of the data will decide the kind of system that you're able to build or you're able to put in place. You're able to put in place. So my name is Kwabena. I am talking about system thinking. System thinking. System thinking. So you should be aware there's something called system thinking. And it's more powerful than any other force that individually we have. You know, it's that powerful. And it's the one that is able to predict the results. When we were doing the process, when I was doing process engineering in the MSc, they told us that the product is as a result of the process. So if the process is wrong, it's so likely that the product will be wrong. So if you want if you want quality product, then you would have to look at the process and build the process well. And the process will, every now and then, would have to be controlled, would have to be, you know, what they call, yeah, you would have to maintain it. You have to make sure that things are in good shape, you know. But at least if you have not built that infrastructure, then it will be very difficult for you to have the consistent, you know, production that you're looking for. And our lives actually is production. So the business that you're building is actually production. It's a product that you're building. The business is a product. Your life is actually something that you're building. We build life. You know, you build it. And if you don't know the right procedures of building, for instance, we are into building, construction. If you don't know the right systems to build 2-bedroom house, 10-unit apartment, 200-unit apartment, if you don't know it, then you will not be able to build it. It's the same. If you're building your business, you're building your finances, you're building your family, if you don't know the right ways to build the system that can produce this business, that can produce this wealth, that can produce this kind of marriage, it's so likely that you're going to fail at it. And we are saying that systems are just processes, procedures that you put in place, that you can put them in a regiment, in a routine, and they work by themselves. We can even automate them, and they work to produce the same results. And we are saying that if you're going to get results in this life, you're going to succeed in this life, you must be consistent. And nothing predicts consistency more than the systems that you have put in place. Nothing predicts repetition more than the systems that you have put in place. You know, so if you've not put any system in place, then it's so likely that you are not going to get consistent with whatever that you're doing. And you only get consistent results because you have put consistent the processes, you've been through the process, and the process keep going. You know, it repeats itself. You go and it comes back. It's like a loop. You know, so every day, your schedule, how you handle your time, where you go to work, time you eat, the friends you talk to, those are the things responsible for the life that you're living now. You can't blame anybody. You know, so if you have not built any right system there, then it's likely that you're not. And if you're not happy with the results, go and check how you spend your 24 hours every day. What's the routine? What are the things that keep repeating themselves? Those things are the ones that are going to make sure that those things, are the ones that are predicting all the results that you're getting. You know, so you get paid 1,000 cedis a month. You can see there are things that reoccurring every day. You go to the white joint, you buy a lot of MTN, you know, you buy alcohol, you drink, you chase the girls. Those things, if they keep repeating, you will see that you have nothing. But if you take 500 out of it and you invest it somewhere and you keep repeating that activity, you will see that at the end of the year, you will see where the money has gone. It's in your investment. It's in something that you keep doing. You're saving. So you're building wealth. You know, but if you're spending it on clothes and phones, on girls and boys, on parties and ceremonies, and those are the things that are recurring in your life, that is another system that you have built right there. So that system will be responsible for the results that you are getting. So my name is Kwabena. Subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends. We are talking about system thinking. If there is something that is not in our education, if there is something that we've not been given as Africans, is the ability to build our own systems to get the results that you want and to create the successes that we want. That ability, if you see a lot of it, that's why you go to a lot of places, they say that they don't maintain the place. It's not that they don't maintain the place, though. It's because a lot of the times they have not put any structure that somebody is in charge to say that if it's 7 o'clock, make sure you follow this. It's 10 o'clock, make sure you follow this. The people that you go to see that have done things that we are so much happy and we think that they are genius, it's not that they are genius. They just write something down and they make sure that everybody follows it. And the moment everybody is following it, they will keep producing the same results. So they say that every 2 years we will paint this house. Every 2 years they make sure they paint that house. And that's why the house is in good shape. It's not because they're genius. So they put infrastructure in place. They put steps in place. They put what we call systems in place to make sure that this is what we desire. So if you're not aware, if you're in charge of any corporation, you're not happy with your results. If you're an entrepreneur, you're not happy with your results. If you're a student, you're not happy with your results. If you're a student and you don't have a regiment that you're following, it's likely that you will not be the best in your class. Why? Because you don't have any structure. So you want to tell yourself, I am studying science or I'm studying maths on Sundays. I'm studying English on Tuesday. I'm studying this on this day. If you don't have that, you just get up, wake up, paste, and you follow anything, it's likely that you're not going to be a good student because you don't have a system in place to make sure that you qualify or you pass that exam. So I'm going to share with you some of the things, some of the systems that I use as a person to develop myself consistently. And some of them I've been doing for years. Some of them I've been doing for years. And I will share some with you. So every year I write down the kind of books that I'm going to read. I write them down. I write the whole. So I'm going to read this number of books every month. These are the books that and actually sometimes I download them. Sometimes some of them will just come from nowhere, maybe as I'm talking to friends, but at least I have a fair idea that maybe I'm reading. Usually I'm reading 2 to 4 books a month. There's no better system than the one that is feeding you to become better. Then I say that, okay, these are the topics that I'm going to watch on video. So I make sure that I watch at least one of those topics, let's say every day. So I have business topics, entrepreneurship topics, I have finance, I have health, I have things on Africa, history especially. I want to educate myself because the damages that these guys have done to us is wide and deep. So we don't know the depth of the damage that they did to the African people. So I keep learning. I watch videos, I read books on that to correct my mind, to correct the misconception, and to build myself and to build. I read the Bible. There was a time that I was reading about from cover to cover, and a lot of the times I would even read Proverbs every week. I was reading that for years. I was reading that. Why? Because it's a system. So you don't just get up anywhere. There was a time that I was listening to preachings and talks like it's on my laptop. So it's running all the time. It's talking all the time. Why? Because I want to build my mind. I want to build myself. I want to build my emotions. I want to build my spirit. So I'm learning. So the books, the videos, then friends that you talk to. You have to be intentional about some of the friends that you talk to, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You have to know that this guy is building a business. I'm building a business. Sometimes you can share. We can meet. I don't meet friends to have a drink and alcohol and those things. I don't have that on the timetable. So the church I go to, the same. The money, how much is going to the business? So you build that. So these are personal things that I do. And I've read a lot of books out of that. Sometimes you don't want to pick the book. Sometimes you look at the book and you're angry. Sometimes you're so tired, but you still want to do them. Why? Because you have put something that is cross-checking you. And because that thing does not change, it's just, you have put them there. They don't change. You write them. Anytime you look at them, you are reminded of what you have to do. Once you write them down, sometimes you are so tired, but you have no option. Time to go. And because you are not listening to your emotions and you're going by this, you look back and there is results. You look back and you're consistent with your growth. Why? Because you are really stretching yourself to go by what you have put down, and that's the system. That's the system. For instance, if you take the car engine, the design is set a car, for instance. They say that you have to put fuel in it. You have to put water in it. You have to put lubricants in it. There are times that you have to change the oil or change the brakes. make sure that you change the tires, those things is a system. If you decide to say that you're stubborn, you don't want to, no problem, the car will break down, the engine will not work again. So the same. And as a matter of fact, our human body, God also did the same thing. That's why you eat, that's why you drink, that's why you go to private, that's why you have to bath. You can decide that I'm not going to bath for the next 10 years, no problem. But the body will react. The body will react. What you're eating. If you eat good food, you'll be healthy. If you eat bad food, there will be problems. It's as simple as that. Your immune system will break down if you continue to eat bad food. So these are things that God has put in place. Precision, they are precise. And if you follow them, you actually can live long. A lot of the times people say that you don't know when you're going to die. Well, of course, we don't know the exact date that we are going to die. But if you're careful with a lot of things, we can predict. If you look at the food, even accidents are accidents. Negligence, they happen. Then somebody's life is taken. It's not because that person was meant to die that time. No, it's because somebody was negligent. Then boom, the human beings will come with all kind of interpretation. But listen, what happened was that it was an accident. It's just an accident. The plane dropped because somebody was negligent. It's a machine. Somebody who did not follow the procedures. So it dropped. The car had accident. Why? Because somebody was overspeeding. Somebody was sleeping. The road was not constructed well. The car was old. The driver was untrained. The driver was careless. These are things. So human beings, the more you're able to build things to balance this, the better we have control of what happens to us. So I read, and those are some of the things that I read. So you must have every week. You can even just write it on your phone and snapshot or something, and keep them somewhere, so that they guide you all the time. That's how you're going to predict your future. That is how you're going to predict your future. So never, the systems are in place so that you can predict. You can't predict anything without a system. That's why the meteo people, the meteorologists, they are able to predict the weather. Why? Because of data. They have built a system. So out of the data, they can predict that this one is going to rain, is going to be shining, it's going to be this. It's not mystical. It's not superstition. It's just the data. And the one with data is the one who's ruling. The one with the quality data is the one who's ruling. So in a business, it's the same. Do you know how many people who come to the business? What do they come to do? Do you have any statistics on them? Are you able to build a trend? Are you able to, predict something based on what you have in mind? Who are the people who come Friday morning at your business? Who are those who come on Sundays? Who are those who come on Saturdays, 10 p.m.? Do you have any fair idea? If you have these things, you sit down, you analyze them, you'll be able to tell what is wrong with the business. And do you have data of your business? You have done the business for 20 years. The first year of your business, do you have the finances? Do you know what they bought in January, what they bought in December, what they bought in, October? And then the following year, do you know? In 2010, what happened? Where's the data? Do you have it? If you don't have anything, you can't build a good system. That's why the business that's why the business goes up and it comes down. Why? Because you have no data to compare. You just hope and pray that things will change. In this life, the one with a system will beat the one who's praying in this life. The one with quality system, technology, processes, structures, principles set in place will always beat the one who is praying and hoping and waiting. So that's why when you want to travel, that's why if you want to travel, this is Master Wolf, extremely well represented. Thank you in Washington, D.C. Led to this. Hi, Daniel Dark of Ghana, by the way. Do you know him? I'm not sure. Maybe I know him. I'm not sure. Maybe Danny. Okay, maybe. So system, you must put system in place. You must put, if you don't have a business, no problem, but put system in place to run your life. Put something. What feeds your mind? Put something there. Put something. Structure it, regiment it. At least, for me, your life is not going to change until what your mind is processing changes. Never, never. That's why God gave us this. We are the only people human beings are separate from all the other creatures. Why? Because of our ability to innovate, to think, to use our minds. And what is feeding our So, God gave us this powerful tool called the mind. And great people have been able to take care of their minds. That is why they are successful. So, if you know the power of the mind and how you can cultivate it, nothing can take you out. Unfortunately, most of us, especially Africans, a lot of us are not using it to create and to build structures. The mind was given to us so that we can build structures, systems, and then those systems will produce the results. The mind God gave us so that we can build systems and structures. We can build better technology out of that. Then that's why God did not give us the chair. He didn't give us the refined gold. He put them in the soil. Then the mind, we use it to build systems. Then those systems will extract those, and then we will use them for our benefit. So that's the difference. The difference is the difference between us and the animals. The bears are still making their nest the same way. The dogs are still making whatever them. But human beings keep changing. Why? Because of quality of information, data, trends. We have insight. So if you're not mindful of systems, it's so likely that you have not been happy with your life. So your life goes up today, it comes down tomorrow. It goes up today, it comes out tomorrow. It comes down tomorrow. There are a lot of mistakes because systems are the ones that put us in check. So there will be a lot of mistakes with your finances. There will be a lot of mistakes with your children and marriage and business and all those because you don't have any infrastructure in place. You have not built that. So we have pumped people. We have given people hope. Say that tomorrow it will change. If you don't have systems, tomorrow is not going to change. The people who are winning in this life, go and look at anybody winning in any sphere. It's because they have infrastructure in place. They can predict the results. That's why they keep winning. That's why they keep winning. And those who are failing have no idea that they even need any structure anywhere. Like they have told us in Africa, we just only need God. That's what they told us. And that's why some people with systems, proper understanding. If you really understand God, you know that He is precise. It's precise. Look at His creation. It's precise. It's precision. How did He build that? That's the kind that if you say we know God, those are the things that we must produce. Precision, precise systems to reproduce. So He created Adam and Eve, and now we have millions and billions. Why? Because that was a system He put in place. So the system will create itself. Without Him being there, He is not even in charge anymore. The rain falls because there's a system there. When we were in school, they taught us about evaporation and condensation and all those. Why? It's a system in place. So there's oxygen, there's carbon dioxide. The same. So the humans who have been able to learn these things, these trends, and replicate them, those are the ones who are successful. And those who are still waiting for God, those are the ones who are unsuccessful. Why? Because systems run the universe. Systems run the universe. Systems run the universe. That's why when you want to build 200-story building, you're not praying. You need systems. Those who are building the nuclear power, they are not praying. Those who are building robots, they are not praying. Those who are building their phones, they are not praying. They have systems producing them. So think like that. Think like that. If you can think in systems and plan them and break them down, sometimes they're very complex, but at least your own personal life, put a system in place. And I can tell you that once you put that in place, 6 months you will see it. Your finances will change. You say that my finances, 10% is here, 20% is here, 3% is here. No matter what happens, this is what I'm going by. And you put that in place and it's well informed, your finances will change in no time. You will not hope that some miracle will happen. No, your finances will change because, okay, I will receive 1,000. 50% I'm putting in this. 20% I'm putting in here. 3% I'm giving it to this person. If you do that and you're consistent with it for 5 years, you will see your life will change just like that. But most of us have no plan for the money that comes to us. We just want to buy a car and build a house. And then we buy the car, we build a house, and we have nothing. Then we keep working for the rest of our lives. And we are always in red. Why? Because there is no system in place. Nobody told us the wealthy in this life, they have structures and systems. That's why they control the world. Those with millions and billions, they are not running everywhere. Some of them don't even get up to go anywhere. They just want their phones giving instructions. Why? Because they built systems. The systems are running. And the systems are running. So be conscious of that. And then you have to go. The essence of this presentation is just to create the awareness that there's something we call system thinking. And those who have found out are the ones who are in charge of their lives and of this world. And those who have not found this, they win by lotto, hoping that they will get lotto. One day they will win jackpot. Even if you win the jackpot and you don't have system, within 3 years, you'll be gone. All the money, you will lose them. Why? Because you need a system to preserve the money and to keep growing it. And you have no idea that there's a system. You marry and you have no idea that there's a system for marriage. There'll be problem. If you give birth and you don't know that you have to build systems to train those children, there'll be problem. There'll be problem. You have a business and you don't know that you must set systems in place for the workers, for the money, for the product. If you have no idea, you are the one crying every day. You want to go and open the shop because your girls will steal. You have no system to train them because then you're scared every time. You're uncertain of everybody. You're unsure. You don't trust anybody because you have no idea how to build a system. You have no idea how to. So challenge your thought. Challenge the things that we have told you, and bring a lot of things to reality. Bring a lot of things to your level, so that you can use the power of your mind to create structures and systems to turn things around in your life. A lot of us are too esoteric, and we live somewhere. And we live somewhere. And we look at our results and we are not happy because we are not in charge of anything. We are not in charge of anything. So my name is Kwabena. I am talking about systems, system thinking. I'm saying that the essence of this is to make you aware that there is something called system thinking. And you have to be aware of it. And God gave us this powerful tool, which is our mind, so that we can create the life that we want. It's in our hands. It's not in the hands of God. That's why He gave us this. So the more you are aware of it and use it, its power to reprogram and to rearrange our lives, the more powerful we become. If we throw this power away, we'll be chasing others to help us to organize our lives. So it takes a system to build a sustainable success and wealth. I'm saying that those who control wealth, they control them because they have better systems. And a lot of them have no idea that those are systems. Countries that are much successful, they understand how to build systems. The water system, the electricity system, the telecommunication system, the agricultural system, they have all kinds of systems in the country, and they all run smoothly because systems are just steps and processes put in place, to run routinely to produce a certain result. So you must have aim, you must have goals before you even set the system. What do you want? Have a system for your life. Every day, these are the things that I do. And if you're consistent with them, so I get up in the morning, I pray for 10 days, 10 minutes, I read the Bible, I read books, because you're spiritual. And then every month I want to look back. So by the end of the month, you would want to cross-check and see if you followed the processes that you set for yourself. And if you're consistent and you go through them like that, and anytime that you set any project for yourself, maybe you want to produce anything, you want to produce a book, you want to produce anything that you want to produce, set some steps and follow them and see The moment you set some steps and follow them, you will produce that thing. Because those systems will cross-check you. They will put you on your toes. Because if you're sincere, you see that once you write those things, okay, Sundays, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., these are I want to be doing this every Sunday. The moment you write that, if you're sincere, when it is that time, you will not be yourself. You will not be yourself. You will get up and say, no, that's something that I don't get. Why? Because you have set it and it will control you like that. And before you see it, you have a lot of results. You have a lot of successes because it's daily. And they say that habits, they make us. And habits make us because habits that are consistent in your life, they are systems that are running you. You may not be conscious of them. So it takes a system to build wealth. I said that. And you have to put yourself in a system or yourself will run you into ditch. And the most successful in this life, they do that. And systems and processes they're repetitive, they repeat themselves. And that's why we get results, because we get results out of consistency and repetition. So it's not the thing that you did once. So it's the thing that you're doing every day, every other day, every week, every month. Those are the things that are determining your life. They decide your life. It's not the one show. It's not the one-night show. If you're saving money, it's not the one that you save once every 6 months. It's the ones that you are saving every day. Those are likely to give you control. Give you control. And if you're not in control of anything, you're not in control of anything. Okay? So the results that you're hoping for, you must have control. And that which gives you control is the systems that you have designed. They will predict the results that you're getting, you're hoping for. And we are saying that the system must have input and output. You design it so that there's input and there's output. There's input, there's output. But go look at God's creation. A lot of things have input and they have output as well. A lot of things, they have actions and reactions. A lot of things, they have actions and reactions. So you do this. I don't know the English word. You rub your hand against your palm. To create what? Heat. That's God's creation. It's God's creation. So there are precisions. The systems will put you in a position of precision systems. And I'm saying that every creation of the Almighty, there is precision, and they run in systems. Every one of them. Look at our rivers. Look at the sea. Look at the stratosphere. Look at the universe. Look at even your eye. There are whole specialists, doctors who have only specialized on the eye. And I'm sure if you go even deeper, some of them will just take a bit of just the eye and specialize in that. And those are all complicated systems. Just the eye. Some people have just specialized the nose. Every bit of the human body, some people have special everywhere, and every one of them is complex, and they all work. They're all precise. If they shift small, there's a problem. Those are systems. So if you want to get results, you must think like the Creator, and the Creator thinks in systems. The Creator, he thinks in systems. So you must think like that. So look at anywhere of your life. Anywhere of your life. Hi, Kwabena, I hope you're always well. Great chat a few days ago with very informative. Hope to talk with you further in the near future. Everything runs from its granular state. Yes, that's the first principle to atom. Yes, you must be a science student, Melissa. Yes, first principles, everything runs there. And those who understand these principles, those are the ones who are successful. And the other ones are hoping, waiting. Yes, everything runs to its granular level. Yes, the basic level. And the moment you get these things right, you will not be frustrated. So think you can build maybe 10 systems that will run your life. So put every bit of your life in a system. 10 steps in every one of them. And you repeat them. And you go by them. You may not be perfect, no problem. So if you break them, go back again. So let's say you want to be faithful to your family or your wife. Write them down. Say that these are the steps that I'm going to follow to keep myself safe. And you see that you'll be safe. Why? Because then you have systems that follow. I'm not going to go here. I'm going to go here. By the time you see it, your life is. There are some friends that anytime you go there, you lose money. You still keep going there. Why? Because you don't have any system to check you. So you go there and you will lose the money. So it's all. Put your finances in a structure. Put your health in a structure. Put your reading, your studies, growth, the books you're reading, the videos that you're watching, the audios that you're listening, your goals that you set for yourself, the new career that you want to develop, the new skills that you want to develop, where you want to go, where you want to stay, the things that will make you better, put them in a system. And a system is not any complex thing. It's just steps that run you and based on the achievements or the goals that you have set for yourself. And if you're backed by them, your life will automatically go there like that. Before you see it, everything has changed. Everything is now, because if they're well informed, that's why you must always be upgrading your mind and yourself. And anything that you're involved in, anything that you set up to do, get more information in that, and then write some steps that you're going to go through all the time. And those steps will make you successful. It's not that you are going, it's the steps, the procedures that you follow. That's why anywhere you go in this world, any organization, there are steps. Because steps and processes, those are responsible for the success of that organization. Those are responsible for that, So the more informed you are with these things, the better you are with your life. The more informed you are with systems. So think in terms of systems. Think in terms of systems, and think instead in terms of systems. Think, everybody, look at that. So plan, especially the adults, those of us who are over 30. Our finances, systematize them. Put them in the system and see. Set your goals. You'll be shocked. The business, put them in systems. The very things that you know as an entrepreneur, put them down. Teach the team. Build the right culture. Teach them the values, the ethics. Teach them how to work well, how to work hard. Teach them how to be honest with the business. Teach them how to, for them to take, charge of the business, work from their heart. That's how the business will work. If you have a lot of people working with you and their heart is not in the business, they're going to destroy the business. So if you have to sack everybody and to employ new people to do that, to build that culture, build it. The more you have people who are not happy to be there, the more unsuccessful the business will be, especially if it's a small business. You have 10 workers, 20 workers, and you see them every day, and your heart, you see them, the way they talk to the customers, you're not happy, the way they are stealing the money, they are stealing the products, they are talking badly, they are talking badly at you, they are always in combat, they are very combative with you, they are disagreeing with you, sack them. Tell them to go. Bring new ones who you can work together to build a proper business, because the more dissolved, the more combative the team is, the business won't succeed. It's as simple as that. So you have to take the heart. You have to be tough to say that, listen, if you don't like to be here, you don't have to be here. Some people are praying to God to get a place like this. So if you don't change, you're not going to be here. And you must do that. Then you get somebody, because there's always somebody who is looking for a place to work. I can tell you that. Always. There's somebody who's looking for a place to work. So the people you employ, they are not doing you a favor. If somebody is helping somebody, it's you. So you cannot be begging them all the time. It's better, it's good to show respect to them, but you cannot be the one. You have to lower your standard, lower yourself to talk to them. No, fire them. You have to be in charge, because the business is going to work out of your leadership. And you must have a system for that. You must have a training manual for that. So that it's not that because the people are scared to be there. No. But they want to be there. They are inspired to work. And if they are not happy, they don't have to be there. You have to inspire them to be there, but if you cannot be begging them to be there. No matter how skilled they are, if they don't have good heart for the business, their skill is useless. You know, because when you come to say one thing, where you go, they are saying another thing to the people. You don't need people to work with you like that. They'll destroy you. They'll destroy the business. You know, and that's one of the things that young businesses fail. One of the things that entrepreneurs fail with the wrong team, because the wrong team is never, you are not able to build a strong culture with the wrong people around you. It could be a partner, it could be employees, it could be suppliers, it could be some other people. But if your business is employees, a first generation business, you must build a strong culture where people are happy to come to work, where people are selfless, they want to go the extra mile, they are truthful, they are honest, they're happy, and they bring new ideas for the business to work. If they don't exhibit these things, the business won't work, which means you don't have a good system to build a culture. So now you have to go back, sit down and look, how do I build a strong culture for this business to work? You must write the steps, and then you must keep repeating those steps. Then after a while, you see that we have a better culture, and that culture is going to be responsible for the success of that business. You know, and that is a system for an entrepreneur. You know, if you don't have that, then you are going to stretch yourself. You're paying people, but you're virtually doing everything. You will die before your time. Why? Because you are not able to structure things, you know, to put things in perspective. Yes, if they don't buy into the vision, let them go. Absolutely. If they don't buy it, don't let them stay there. Let them go. You always get somebody there. There's always somebody somewhere who will be there, who will be happy to work with you. Always. Until you get those, the business is not going to scale. The business is not going to go up. Until you get people who are happy to contribute and to move this idea. And usually those who are not happy, who don't buy into the vision, they are the ones creating problems every day. And most entrepreneurs are that weak because they don't have a better system built, not mentally and not physically. And you must have those systems built. You must have them. Put them down. Pick your diary, pick your phone, write all those. How you are going to handle the finances, how you are going to build the culture, how you are going to handle the team. If the product is no good, look at how you can change it. If the price is no good, look at how you can change it. If the location is not good, look at what you can do. If you are sunk in debt, look at how you're going to restructure so that you can come out of the debt. You know, if some mistakes, if the partner is not right, look at how you can restructure. You can restructure that, you know, because it's your time that you're trading to build this business. And if you don't take charge, you'll be the one who will have nothing. Why? Because you didn't have a system in place. So you must, it's a system. Once you have a system, you'll be very happy. And it's not any strange thing. You know, it's not some complex thing. It's just the steps that you're repeating, the processes, the principles, the mechanisms, the activities that you put in place that will make sure that you are getting this particular resource. And if something doesn't go well, you tune it well, you know. And that's why. So a lot of these organizations that are doing well, that is their trick. They have put things in place and they just repeat them. And if they've been good with that, you know, with those things, they will get the results that you're looking for at the time. And then you see them succeeding. It's not because they're genius. I mean, it's just because we are all the same. The difference between men is the systems that they're able to build and how well informed, you know, they were by the time that they were building those systems. You know, and with those systems, you'll be able to predict a lot of things. A lot of things. So put them there, put them in at home, put them in your business, put them in your finances, put them in your health, you know, put them in your relationships, in your friends. Put the structure around the books you read, put the structure even around the music you still listen to, and the friends you have. Even sometimes you're dressing, put the structure around it, you know. Because you can see a person's philosophy by what they dress, how they look, the colors they pick. Their philosophy is right there, you know. And it's coming from the mental infrastructure that they have, you know. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about systems thinking. Systems thinking. Systems thinking. So think that. Just be aware. I'm just saying that be aware. Read on this. Buy books on them. There are a lot of books there. Buy them, read them. There are a lot of videos I'm sure people have done on systems thinking. You just have to be aware that there's something like that. And these things are responsible for all of us, our results, whether we've been doing them consciously or unconsciously. they've been responsible for all the results that we get across board, everywhere of our lives. So if it's better we do them intentionally and we do them, and they put us in good shape. So thank you very much. Thank you for taking time to look at some of these things that we share here. And our hope is that people will be aware that if you don't have system on anything, you're not going to have consistent results. And a lot of things will be out of your control. And the more a lot of things are out of your control, the higher the rate of failure. If you're not in charge, you're failing. So a lot of our mistakes will come out of that. Come out of areas that we're not in charge. The areas that we're not in charge. So just be aware of this. You've got to be in charge of your life. You've got to be in charge of the areas. You've got to be in charge of your business. You have to be in charge. That business that you're building, you must be in charge of a lot of things. And the best way to be in charge is to build systems around the business. And we are saying that these systems are just procedures. They are not anything strange. They're just the normal things that you do every day. The very things that you do every day. If you do them well and you continue to do them, those are the things that are going to be responsible for your successes. So just be aware and do them and set them well and do more research on these things. So I want to thank you very much, and you may also share this video with people you think will be happy to watch this. Thank you very much. Sometimes you need a reminder. High level quality information. Thank you very much. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. So have a good day or good night wherever you are. So I thank you for watching. You may contact me. My contact is at the YouTube page. About, if you go there, you will see. You will see my WhatsApp number is there. You can also see. So okay, thank you. Bye bye.
You're welcome.
Okay.